Hello, aren't we kind to you? You're getting a special episode, meaning we've got our voices for you twice this week. We had an idea when we started doing this. The idea was to help highlight the problems clubs were facing with owners and potential relegation. This spiraled to where we are today. Oldham Athletic, we can safely say we've become fans of yours. Aside from when you play our clubs, we'll be cheering you on. We've met some cracking people, from the guys on the doors, Andy and Jeff, who welcomed us with a smile. Pamela, who made sure we were served the best bangers and mash we've ever had. Steve, who made all of this possible. To the main man himself, Mr. Oldham, the nicest and most welcoming man we've ever met, Frank Rothwell. And not forgetting Darren, who looked on in pure horror when he realized that we were about to interview Frank. Even if you don't love Oldham, you'll love this, I'm sure of it. It's the lower league look. It's the lower league look. It's the lower league look. It's the lower league look.
So I'm here with Tom, Oldham fan. What's your feelings about the recent takeover, first of all?
Overwhelmed and happy. If you'd asked me months before that, it was all doom and gloom. Now, bit of optimism, the ground's buzzing, and it feels like we've got a club back. We've got a bit of identity again. The passion's here. From fearing relegation, we can now look optimistic towards the top.
And it's and you know, it's interesting because we've talked to a lot of Oldham fans today, and it's the same feeling. Obviously, it's frustrating that you've gone down last season. You played in the National League. How do you feel about the National League in general?
Well, it's one of these. I've done a lot of ground hopping. I've got nothing against it, but I never thought I'd see my team down here. So far, it's not been too bad. We had a good day out at Torquay. I'm not being patronising, but Torquay has a football league club feel. But credit to Torquay, they come up here. The fans were noisy, but they played good football. I was impressed with the fitness levels, and it shows. Okay, it's bad, but it's not that bad. And some of the teams will be better than what we saw in League Two.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. I think that we've mentioned it before as well. I personally am up for three down from League Two to the conference.
Personally, when I first got into football, I remember 4 going up, 4 going down. I think it should be 4 up, 4 down through all divisions, because it keeps the season going for so many teams and gets fans hooked. It's nothing worse than being in a season, nothing to play for, and feeling like a drag, although I would have took that round in relegation. But yeah, I think the National League now is effectively the 5th professional division. Most of the teams have got big budgets, more up, more down.
Absolutely. So I'm going to ask you about today, Wheelstone. Unfortunately, the Raiders not here today, apparently.
I've met him before.
Right.
I went ground up in a few years ago and he came over to talk, and I've got my photo. I actually shared it on Twitter. He's not a bad lad. He doesn't like it being called non-league. He thinks it's patronising, but I can't fault him. There's fans like him are passionate. That's what football's about. Someone getting behind the team. Okay, it's a bit of aggro, but it wasn't malicious aggro. It's just banter.
Yeah.
And fair play to every one of them that's made the trip up here.
Yeah, apparently there's going to be, from what I understand, there's going to be about 200 of them. Doesn't look like there's 200 of them right now.
I used to work turnstiles here. And then we played Dagenham one year, and everyone was doing over 200. I went, yes, to work, there's about 150 of them come from a turnstile. So it doesn't look it, but the problem is, but then they'll also include like guests and players' wives and all that. But fair play, I love being football. I love going to on a Tuesday night. And I know they've had their own problems. So for them, this is like a big fish in the pie for them, so I can't fault them.
Prediction tonight, what are we going with?
Oldham 2, Wheelstone 1.
Oh, we'll see. Let's hope. I'll tell you what, I'm hoping for an Oldham result as well. So come on, the lads.
Coming off the field is number 9, Chris Porter. And coming onto the field, number 20, Mike Fondon.
Big Mike!
So I'm going to just jump straight in on this. I'm going to just say, guys, I've done an introduction already, so we don't need to worry about that. Special episode. We're going to box off Oldham, and we've got with us tonight, you might recognise him, We've got Oldham Chris back. Chris, say hello.
Hello, it's Chris from France, the Oldham fan, the mad Oldham fan. How are you, lads? How you doing?
We're doing great. Thanks. We're doing really good. In fact, I'm doing brilliant. We've also got, come round, Chris. We've also brought back for a special
full of
episode.
special guests tonight.
We've got Chris back for a special episode. But, Chris, we've got an even more special guest just for you.
Better than Chris Dizzy? Better than Chris Dizzy? Oh, no. Oh, Mr. Rothwell.
We have Frank Rothwell, the owner, the new owner of Oldham Athletic. Let me just move this back. So, Chris, lean if you want. We'll make this work. We'll make this work, boys. We'll cuddle up. So
he's off the cuddling up there.
Yeah. So, Chris, we're gonna let you just go in first on this, and Grant, you'll have to translate because I can't hear Chris properly. But we'll make this work. Chris, what do you want to say?
What can I say? This guy that sat next to you is been a revelation. He's a miracle. I mean, where's he come from? I mean, we had John Sheridan, who I know, Chris, I won't say nothing because I know you're there tonight, Chris, so you won't get thumped off John Sheridan. But you were his biggest fan last year. We've got Joe Royal, we've got two gods, and now we seemingly found a third god in Oldham, and he's sat there outside here, a man who's rode across thousands of miles, done loads of things, and he's like a breath of fresh air. The club is black and white from 3 weeks ago. What have you done? Where have you been, Frank? Where have you been since 2004, man? Come on. Welcome to our stupid daft club, and thank you very much.
Well, it's actually 19 days since we bought the club, and it was a family decision. We came to the Leyton Orient game, and we were so impressed with the Atleticos, our young supporters, who've sung all the way through it. They have a big drum, they have a drummer, and it's just two lads who got this singing group together, and they're really young. The average age is about 16. You know, there's loads of 12-year-olds in them. And when we came to see the Leyton Orient game, which we won, we were so impressed. On the way home, my son said to me, he says, "You know, Daddy," he says, "we could do something with Oldham." I said, "Not on your bike." I said, we're not buying a football club. Then what happened is that my son-in-law plays golf with Darren Royal. And so Darren, my son-in-law says, "Oh, Darren wants to speak to you because I wear another hat. The other hat I wear is I'm the business ambassador for Oldham Council. It's an unpaid job, something I'm passionate about Oldham, so of course I'll do it for nothing." Anyway, Darren says, "Well, you must know all the businessmen. Can you come and put a consortium together?" I said, "Well, it's when for?" "Well, it's in 4 weeks' time." You can't do that. You just can't do that type of thing. 2 years. I mean, probably more than 2 years. So, anyway, he told me his vision of where he saw the club going, what this club could do if the badge owned the land, stadium, car park, and the surrounding land as well. He says, "This is what we could do," and he told me his ideas and how it would work, and wow, you know, eventually I spoke to my wife and then spoke to the family, and the family said, "Yeah, you know, probably we could." So we have another meeting with him, and it just happened to be that Simon Blitz, who's the landowner, owns the stadiums, and he was coming over 3 days later. So we met him, and he did not want to see the club go into receivership or administration. He definitely, not receivership, administration, looks like liquidation. He did not want to be the person responsible for that. So we talked over with him, and we talked about price, on whether we could afford it, whether to buy the stadium and the adjacent land. So eventually we have a verbal deal. So then, and it really had to be done that you own the stadium first, you know. So then we started to speak to Abdullah, and Abdullah. We'll let just one person speak to Abdullah because he didn't get confused, or you know, or we wouldn't know what we'd said. So my son Luke, who's 47 years old, a bit more placid than me because it wouldn't have happened if it had been me doing it. We do a verbal deal with both parties, So then we thought, well, the first thing we've got to do is we've got to, John Sheridan's the top man, we're not going to get better than John. And the fans, not the fans, the supporters love him, and he's got absolute respect. And so once we'd done, they got the verbals on it, I phoned John up. I said, I'll phone John and tell him. I said, John, I said, you don't know me. I said, but I just bought Oldham Athletic. Who are you? He thought it were wind up because he must get that all the time. Who are you? Well, I said, we did meet once, but you won't remember me because I remember you because you're really important. He said, so I explained to him when we'd met and all that type of thing. So, and
did he remember in the end? Did he remember?
Well, he did do, yeah. Of course he did, yeah. Well, it was only like about 3 or 4 weeks earlier, and I was one of them people that come, can I have a photograph with you? And I was, as part of my hat when I wore the business ambassadors hats, we went around all the businesses in Oldham, most of the business we can do, and we came to see Oldham Athletic as being a business. And I came and met John Sheridan. We had a photograph for the photograph wall, and so he remembered. And
he won't forget you. He won't forget you, will he, Frank?
I said, you need to come and. I said, can you come tonight and have an hour with our family? I can tell you what we want to do, and so he came. On his way home, he came and called, and with Darren and all my family, we sat down. We talked about what our visions were and what Darren's visions were. And Darren's vision is that we want to be in 2 years, we want to be self-sustainable, and then moving on from there. In that time, if we get some promotion, we do. But I've not been John Sheridan under that kind of pressure. He puts himself under that sort of pressure. He's such a conscientious man. He's a sound man, and so we told John, and then nobody else knew apart from John. He was the first person we told, and then we decided that the next thing we'd do is get the fans groups together, which I now call the supporters groups, because football fans have some of them have a bad reputation. There's been fighting in the past on motorway services. The police have to make sure that certain fans don't go to the same services as other than so there's no conflicts and all that. Well, in Oldham we don't have that. We have supporters because we on Saturday we had 8,000 supporters. So 8,500, and
it was brilliant.
Like the other clubs in this division we're in, had 1,200, but not 1 or 2. There was like 6 of them. We had more supporters here on Saturday than another 6 of the other teams, clubs. They call them teams or clubs. Clubs in the same division. So, and it was the supporters we bought into. It was the support of Oldham. I know it's sad that we had the pitch invasions, and I'll be very sad about that while I was here. But I can't see it going from peak to down so quickly. So let's see.
No, not now.
Do you think that the pitch invasions and things, kind of as bad as they are, needed to happen to force some form of change?
Well, look, I have a problem with pitch invasions because what happened at Hillsborough, it's not what happened at Hillsborough, it's what happened before Hillsborough. So that I can remember all the football grounds had mesh reinforcing bars all the way around so to prevent fans from running onto the pitch. And after Hillsborough was caused by, there's a lot of things that caused Hillsborough, but one of them was that the supporters, the fans, weren't allowed to go onto the pitch because they couldn't climb through the mesh.
Grand's dog's going on.
Checking out.
So there was no escape for the fans who were trying to climb over it, and they couldn't climb over it. So one of the things that Maggie did, whether you love Maggie or hate or whatever, she says, if anybody runs on a football pitch now, she says they will be immediately arrested and put into jail, full stop.
Wow.
She says that's not going to happen ever again. We're going to take down all these barriers to stop fans going on. So and nobody will. If anybody ran on pitch, they got hammered. After Hillsborough, if everybody felt that that's one of the elements that caused Hillsborough, and so it just can't be done. The they were extremely frustrated. Another thing I'd like to tell our supporters is that when they did the coffin thing and they did the chanting and all that outside, Abdullah wasn't there. You know, and it was the ladies who do the tea and the coffee and they work in the office felt threatened and they felt frightened. You know, and that is wrong. You know, so I don't know what you do in a situation like that. Passion takes over.
Yeah.
But from Hillsborough, I think we owe it to Hillsborough that we're never going to have that
But
again.
I think, like Frank, you know, you mentioned those things, and obviously that was the club in a little bit of crisis. The fans struggled with what was going on. We now look at the positivity. We look at yourself taking over the club. Everything's exciting again, and I don't think we're going to have that problem, are we?
I don't think so. It will be a long. The passion.
Yeah.
The passion. Yeah, I mean, sorry. You look at Frank. I mean, he went to the Orient game on his way home. They decided to buy a football club. Most people buy a bag of chips. You know what I mean? This guy. You know, I mean, what can you say? I mean, should we buy a bag of chips? No, let's buy the club. I mean, it's superb. I mean, if it's in your blood, it's in your blood. I mean, I live in France and I'm still Latics mad. I'm still involved as best as I can. And I was talking to Roy yesterday, Roy Butworth. I mean, I have a lot of contacts still over there, and I love the club, and it's just absolutely. And once I'm better next year, I'm coming over. And I'm gonna see Shezza again. I'm gonna get back in there. I'm probably gonna have a few enemies because of Twitter and Facebook, but that's a lie. But
what happens?
But I say what I think, and I don't. You know, I'm a bit like Frank in a way, but I've got a few quid behind him at bank. I think he's probably going to have a few quid less now he's bought that club. But at the end of the day, we all want the same thing, and I think what was coming across to our fans is he's loved because he's a local man, he's a people's man, every Twitter. Frank was there, he was taking it. Frank was there, he was filling in Paul. I've got more photos on my phone of Frank now than I have of my wife. I'm having a bromance with somebody I've never met. What's going on?
I've got loads of pictures of Chris's wife, so I'm just going to say I've got loads of pictures of Chris's wife on my phone.
Oh, no, she's too.
Grant, you've been in this league?
Yes.
You've followed your club in this league. I'm going to translate Grant for you because he's partly, but he's Scottish.
Okay. Well.
So I'm going to translate him for you because
I am probably going to do a wee bit of translating, Frank.
But he's got your hat.
You absolutely. Yeah.
I didn't even know.
I've went tweed
so
hat.
Grant,
I've went Oldham top, fond up in the back of it.
He loves him.
Oh, fantastic!
Because he obviously played for Hartlepool as well. Did Fondop?
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
So,
I love Hartlepool. When I was training for my rowing, I went out to Hartlepool Marina, and it's a great place. Every time you go through that lock, and then I run aground. And, yes, but,
so Grant, question for you then: you followed your club in this league. What does it take to get out? Because you got out, and you got out by, I want to say, by the skin of your teeth. You play a final, you conceded a goal to a goalkeeper, and won on penalties. Like, if you were looking at this league, what would you say?
A club in this league, you don't need to be the best club in the league. You look at us when we came up through promotion, through the playoffs. You look at a club like Grimsby, they came up through the playoffs as well. It's a hard league. We all know the National League's a horrible one. The 2 up, 2 down formation's awful. It needs to be scrapped, and it needs to be 3 up, 3 down, and 2 auto spots. It has to be. And I think any owner in the National League should try and push for that. That's the first thing I would really love to see you try and do.
For 3 to be promoted and 3 to come down from League 2 is what this league should be pushing for.
But what it needs...
3 down.
That's what it is in every league. Well, so League 2 up is 4, League 1 down is 4, but where the League 2 is the only league that is 2 teams relegated, which makes it so hard to get out of this league that you're now in.
I've not met, so far, I've not met an owner yet of the club. The owner of Torquay wasn't there. The owner of Dorking was the manager. He didn't come after they lost. He didn't come across for a beer. I'll tell you what a top man he is.
To own and manage a club?
Not own and manage a club, and build it from day one.
Yeah.
And have another job as well. That bloke is something special. I wish I was like him.
But it takes passion. See a passionate club, a club that its supporters can rally around everyone and really drive, will be successful in this division.
When we had our first home game on Saturday, what I wanted the world to see Oldham and Oldham Athletic and think, how the hell has this club ended up here?
Mm-hmm.
Right? I want to say another thing, this club cannot be down here for long, because we've got so much support. Darren says to me, Frank, he says the average club in the division we're going into loses £500,000 a year. So okay, let's. Are they going to be better with my interfering in the running bit? No, they're not. I'm going to. My job is to make sure. Today I was litter picking today, but we have a lot of the good staff, ground staff we had. And all that. They've all. And then here we are now, and it's exciting.
It is exciting.
Everybody, the whole town, not just everybody now supports Oldham Athletic.
Your world over.
Well, everybody does. We're better. Well, not me. I'm a breath of fresh air. But it's a breath of fresh air around here,
Yeah.
And everybody's excited, and my wife's excited, and my daughter, my grandchildren are excited. Everybody else's grandchildren are excited. Well, can I tell you something? I want if our supporters see this, or your supporters, something happened to me on day 4 of the that we bought the club. And I was walking through the car park, and there's this woman, late 30s, early 40s, with 2 girls. These girls are probably 8 and 9 years old, and they're in full latex kits. Wow, so I said, obviously, so I said, hello, how are you doing? Yes, she said, we're going to go and buy this year's kit. I said, well, I didn't realise what they were. I knew so little. I didn't realise the kit they were wearing wasn't this year's. Well, I said, make sure you buy the away kit. It's dead smart. She said, well, haven't they?
I wish I'd known that. I bought the home kit.
The away kit's dead smart. I bought that. Only the shirt, not the back. Anyway, so then what happened is I said, what have you been doing today? She said, we've been playing today. She said, we have a community trust which trains school children, holiday time and all this type of thing. I said, wow, she said, we've been playing today. I said, fantastic. I'm really passionate. And she says, and we've got our season tickets. I thought, wow, fantastic. I said, and then I thought, we've got a situation here where we've got a lady. We've got a lady with 2 young, impressionable girls, right, at an age that they're impressionable when that kind of age. They might be 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, I just don't know. So anyway, I said to her, where do you sit? Thinking that she might have gone for safety and been in the Joe Royal stand, or in the old stand. No, she says, we sit over there, she says, in the family stand. The family stand is right next to the Athleticals. Well, the Athleticals are the best singing, dancing act in the world. We must have 2,000 kids, all aged between 14 and 18 there, who are all passionate. I said, don't you feel intimidated by all these young men next door? No, she says, the girls love it. She says they're jumping up and down and dancing and singing. 8 and 9-year-old girls, now that is special, and I was really touched that. I'm glad I didn't speak to her before, because we might have paid a bit more, because that's the passion that I want. I want ownership. I want my son. I don't know if I've told you this already, because I've had a lot of interviews. But, my son is 40 odd years old, and his vision is to have a wider ownership of the club. How it's going to be. We cannot allow the football team that bears our town's name, to be in the situation it was in before. That can't happen again. No. And if we do nothing else, then as long as we can do that, then I'll be really, really happy. Another thing I want to do, I've not mentioned this before. In Oldham, we have a large Asian community. And I feel that the Asian community are massively, massively underrepresented. In fact, I only know 3. I met 2 Asians when I was doing a walk around last week. They came down to shake me and photograph. I photograph. And then And my mate, who was a mate of Abdullah's, or it was Abdullah's, not agent, but he was his person that introduced him to everybody, you know, and that's what made him man. So Kashif Ashraf was my mate. He's brought a couple of Asian mates, but then that's it. You know, half of our population of that 14 to 18-year-olds are Asians, you know, and I'd love to get them involved. And if I could do that, wow, that would be something special. And I want to go to towns now. I know that Blackburn have addressed it and they've sorted it out. And I know that the other teams have, you know, like Bradford. You know, I understand that they've addressed it, and so we want to make them feel really welcome. You know, when I gave my welcome speech, which went on forever on Saturday, I nearly got booed off. But and you know, and I really said, so we've got to welcome people from all the communities of Oldham to here. You know, make them not just welcome, embrace them, and bring them along. And I hope that will happen.
I think that's one thing. Sorry, I think, Frank, that's one thing that all the supporters groups, the PTB, BPAS, all the podcasts, etc., about Oldham, I think they've all been going for the same thing: a community-run club for the community. And I think the fact that you've come on board and embraced that fact, and you're now promoting that, and I think you're involved with the council. I believe. I think the council have got involved heavily, and I think it's going to be a club for the town of Oldham, for the people of Oldham, run by the people of Oldham. I mean, what more? I mean, think back 12 months ago, I was crying on this podcast. I were in bits. I didn't know where to go. And now, I just wish I were 50 odd. I wish I were younger, so I could spend more time watching that club that chap there is going to build up into a team. Now they're going to come back bigger and stronger. I have every confidence. Maybe not this year, but we're coming back, definitely, under Frank.
If we continue with this support, we can only go one way, you know. We're not going to go down again, are we?
No. You're going to go the way that you need to go. And I think I'm gonna say thanks, Frank, because I know that we're gonna have some food.
Okay, yeah.
We're gonna be late, but we've got food, Chris. You don't get any because you're in France.
Hey.
But
I've got food in the mic. I've got the food in the microwave ready to go. I was ready to make it.
Bangers and mashed
with gravy and everything.
I get cheaper wine than you lot. Listen, can I just say, listen, Frank, carry on. Don't change, mate. Keep doing what you're doing. You're loved by people, and do not change. You're a fantastic character, and you've been a breath of fresh air. And as a lifetime Latics fan, thank you, and please keep it up, mate.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you for inviting me onto your podcast.
It's been great. Thanks for having us.
It's been brilliant, Frank. Honestly, thank you for coming on. It's been good. I think it's an absolutely beautiful story. What's going on here now at Oldham, and I've certainly got a soft spot for the club myself after the last kind of 12 months.
Good lad.
I don't know if you know, but I was on a television program a few years ago called The Island with Bear Grylls, and
it's true.
And I was the grumpy old man that swore a lot. But the thing is, though, I was the only person that could do anything. Eventually, I became the centre of everything, and I'm a leader because I'm a businessman, you know. But I was leading these people, and they resented it. So I thought, okay, I'll lead from the back. But by leading from the back, it was always me that were doing anything. If they went out into the jungle, who led me? Who was the one that caught the snake? Me. It was me that made a raft. And what happened is that the demographics of the people that they tried to sell to, it was younger people. And the young people are bored by old people. You know, so they had to re-edit the whole thing and take me out as much as they could because it became a Frank show. You know. So anyway, this is the important bit. Shine Television is the same people that they do Pointless. And they're all those that they call Endermine Shine. Anyway, they came on to me last week. They says, "Oh yeah, we're singing it, blah." You know, they said, "Blah blah blah." They says, have you thought of? Has anybody approached you to do a documentary about you taking over?" Well, yeah, says not yet. No, I said, but I do have somebody that's doing the documentary about me running the Atlantic, and I've put money into it, and I've bloody lost it. So anyway, they says, "Well, this is we're interested." I said, "Okay, when are you going to make a decision?" "Oh, come back to a couple of days' time." Well, they phoned me up today. They says, I didn't know, I'd forgotten all about him, you know. He says, we're interested in this, doing a documentary. He says, yeah. I said, do you know I've gone, what's it called? Not global, when everybody watches your thing.
Viral.
I said, still on TikTok. He says, yeah. He said, no. I says, have you seen it? Oh, yeah, we've seen it. I said, well, I've not seen it yet. He says, have you had loads of television companies, he says, wanted to do documentaries? I said, no. He said, can I do one? He said, so tomorrow I'm going to do I'm going to do it here for you. Do what do you call it?
Podcast.
No, not a podcast. We're talking to television to screen, aren't we?
A video call.
Video call.
Yeah.
We're going to do a video call tomorrow. So, he's going to try and sell. See, hopefully, the personality can come over. A little bit like the Bank of Dave, And if I can put over that my passion for Oldham Athletic, And in life, we all want to do something good, Everybody I know would like to do some good somewhere. And when I rode across the Atlantic, I'd raised like £600,000 on coaching. I thought I'm going to raise $1 million. And I told everybody before I said I was going to raise $1 million. And to raise £1 million for a charity, like Alzheimer's, which what I did, and 100% of what I raised went to the charity. There's no takeout for me, no expenses or anything like that. And I was really, really, and I thought, I've managed to do something. If I die tomorrow, I think I've done something. But now with this lot, bloody hell, being mobbed. Have you ever been mobbed? And every passion, an old bloke, 72 years old, a lady, I was walking around, and this lady came to me with a baby, 1 month old. Will I kiss a baby? Wow, that is special. That is special.
The Pope. He's like the Pope. The guy's the Pope, isn't he?
He's like the Pope. Well, Frank, thank you. Frank, thank you very much for coming up. We're going to go and eat some bangers and mash.
No food. I'm hungry.
I'm stop talking to you. I'm not going out for a beer with you two.
Hey, listen, Frank, listen. Last thing. When I come over, Frank, I'm going to buy you a pint, mate. Least I can do is buy you a pint for buying my club.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. See you later.
What's the score going to be tonight? What do you reckon tonight?
We're going to win 3-0. We're going to win 3-0.
He's off. He's done.
I'm not allowed to give advice on. I'm not allowed to tell mates to go and bet on anything, and I'm not allowed to. All these things I can't do, and I can't bet myself now because I've signed I'm now a fit and proper person.
Yes, fit and proper. Cheers, guys.
So I'm here with the Atletico boys. Unfortunate result tonight against Wealdstone, but we won't talk about that. What we will talk about is the last couple of years. Lower League Look has kind of been following your story, obviously, from last season. How do you feel now Frank's in charge and he's taken over the club?
Well, it's obviously a lot more refreshing than it were. Like, to have 4 years of absolutely nothing, and then to have a lot. Do
you know what? Why do we let them
come? And then Frank comes in.
Good.
Frank comes in and it's just like a completely different place. Even like I was looking forward to a Tuesday night game against a part-time team at 6 o'clock this morning, and I've not looked forward to a Latics game in a long time. So it's just you feel like the club's in an actual direction now. There's a bit of a vision. And let's just hope it continues, really.
Ryan, same question to you, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, it's just refreshing just to have, even the stands, the land, the club all back together. Somebody coming in who's a local guy, he's all about the club, the community, getting fans in, enjoying coming to Oldham again, which I think is so important. Whatever happens on the pitch, it's for a good day out. So getting the families in, getting the kids in, everybody looks like they're having a good time, no matter what the score. So definitely important.
Yeah, it is. And I'll tell you what, I mentioned this to you boys earlier on. I thought the atmosphere here tonight was fucking class. I really did. Good. You were bouncing all the way through. So why did you start with the Athletic? Fucking stop.
He's being a dickhead. He's being a dickhead. I don't know what he's doing.
I was trying.
I was trying my best.
He's wanking off.
Yeah,
I was like, stop.
The moment I look at him, that's going to put me off that.
Right, fucking hell. Me editing, right.
No, we're not editing. We don't do editing.
We've only done one.
Make a point to all of you. Last night on our podcast, me and Grant both went for a piss. 5 minutes, there's nothing. We went to seats for 5 minutes, and a cat in background track.
Here we go.
Carry on. I'll do
So,
one.
oh God.
Don't look at him. Don't look at him. Don't look at him.
It's the sound.
Pump number 2.
Right, lads, we're professional.
We've done one interview before. Oh dear.
Thing here.
So tonight, I thought it was one of the best atmospheres I've seen in a long, long time, and that's obviously set by you guys, the Atleticos. Why did you start Atleticos?
I mean, obviously, we've seen what was going on in Europe, and you know, for many years we've had not the best atmospheres at home. Our away support is unbelievable. You know, we're selling out away ends everywhere. The atmosphere is electric from everybody in the ground, but every team that came to here were always out singing us. And from then we had a few lads together. We brought a drum, a couple of flags, just to try and kind of be a bit more organised like they are in Europe. And you know, you see how easy it is for them to organise an atmosphere. So we got a couple of lads together, and it kind of went from there. You know, we're 10 years this month. So I think we started off with about 5 of us. A couple of years ago, in the old block, we had probably about 40 of us for Wigan at home, and now we're selling out a block of 600. You know, it's just fantastic. So it's taken a long time, but it was all about the atmosphere, all about to enjoy the game again. And effectively, that's kind of where it came from. So let's start it.
Yeah, awesome. Frank mentioned in our podcast that's going to be coming out, he mentioned that the reason why he bought Oldham was because of the Atleticos. What do you feel about
that? The day he took over the club, I was actually at home having my tea when it happened, and everybody was like, "Are you going down?" I was like, "No, I'm not going to bother." I didn't think it was going to be anything really. And then I got like my phone were going mad for like 10 minutes, like phone calls, texts, like, "Oh, he's asked for you," and I just thought it was one of them comments, you know, when someone just makes a comment, "Oh, where are the Atleticos or whatever." But then I saw videos and stuff, and no, I got a phone because like, "No, he's asked for you," so I literally got in my car, drove down here, and then I met him in the executive box, and he said there was 2 reasons main why I bought the club. It was like 1 because of Darren Royal, and 2 just because of the atmosphere you lot created. Like, it was a Tuesday night against Leyton Orient that he came. We won 2-0. We weren't great, but the crowd was a lot less than it was tonight. It was like 4,000, if that 3 and a bit thousand, but that was full. And he just said the atmosphere you lot created on a cold, horrible Tuesday night when you're bottom of the league. Said I just couldn't look past that. So no, it's really nice considering where we've come from. You know, come from like 5 or 10 people to now. I like to think that we're a lot bigger than we used to be.
Yeah. Do you know what? All the best for Oldham, and like I said, it's a success story for us. Seeing what was going on last season, it was really difficult to watch, and it was. As a football fan, you don't want to see other football clubs go out of existence, and that's why we certainly were trying to push that people needed to notice what was going on. What would you say your last words are for the future? I'll ask you both. Brian, I'll come to you first. What's your thoughts for the future?
I mean, I just hope to start off is just stability. We just got to get the club back together, which it is now, and effectively rebuild. You know, it's even simple things like just giving the ground a good tidy up. You know, it's not had it for years. Pitch relaid, it's not been done in 15 years nearly. It just needs a good tidy up, a good bit of stability in the club again, and to put everything back together. And then if we're going to go for it, is make sure that we're ready to go up, and we're not going to start yo-yoing up and down. And it might not be this season, it might be a couple of years' time. But you know, we've seen the likes of Stockport and Tranmere, and they've come down and they've been gone for years, and they've rebuilt, but they've rebuilt well, and they're going upwards.